Okay. So, sis, can you hear me now? Listen, y'all. The timer went off, but I forgot to hit go live. Ah, listen, that's why I love live. Can you hear me now, sis? I have to laugh at me at like, oh my goodness. I'm sitting here. I am just going. I am just like literally talking. I done went through the, but that's y'all. I literally the timer went off and I forgot to hit live. So I'm here. But that's okay. So I get to do it all over again. I gotta I gotta love me. Let me take a sip of water. Y'all better go ahead and have your sip of water. So listen, let me start all over. You know what it was? My husband came in and distracted me, right? So listen, here I am, y'all. Oh my gosh. All right. So listen, welcome you all to the TLC community. TLC community is sponsored by Swag Her Magazine. Oh my goodness. Go on over to all social media platforms for Swag Her Magazine. They are the ultimate media outlet. And if you're a business owner, you want to connect with them. They are phenomenal. All right. And again, my name is Coach Trinette. I am your certified relationship and marriage communication coach. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. I'm just talking away. I got the man. Let me take a sip of water. Mm. See, I told you, ain't nothing perfect over here. Ain't nothing perfect. Listen, I'm just going away. So listen, when caregiving starts affecting the connection, we're gonna talk about that the TLC way. Talk, listen, and connect. Right. So tonight's goal is to give couples one tool and one practice that you all can use this week. No pressure, no perfection, just awareness, compassion, and connection. All right. So again, what's up, you guys? It's a beautiful day here in the A. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So listen, we're continuing our theme, living the vows, living the vows. And tonight we're our focus again is in sickness, right? So last week we talked about how couples can be talking but not connecting, right? So tonight we're just going to dig a little bit deeper because when sickness, stress, recovery, caregiving, or emotional exhaustion hits the marriage, the connection can start to feel different. It does. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care how well connected you are. The communication connection hits differently, right? And so sometimes couples can't stop like relating as husband. They can stop. Sometimes couples stop relating as husband and wives and then start functioning only in roles, right? Such as caregiver and patient, helper and dependent, planner and receiver, strong one and tired one, right? So tonight is not about blame. We don't have time to blame each other, right? You already had enough on your plate. You don't have time for that. It's about awareness, about awareness. It's about learning how to care for each other without losing that connection with each other. Okay, so go ahead and grab your water, grab your notebook, your pen, pencil, whatever, so you can take down these notes because again, this is ongoing. I don't know not one couple who has not experienced sickness, like literally, right? And I always share with you all my parents, they would have been married 54, 53 years, right? Both of them had cancer. My mother had breast cancer twice, and my father had colon cancer. Both of them are deceased. And I remember them, my mom got sick first, and they still had to build the business, right? They were still building the business and they worked through that thing. And then my dad got sick. And again, they were taking care of each other, but through those vows, they stuck with each other and they worked it out. But that communication did hit differently, right? Because now you got to operate in different roles. But tonight we're going to talk about when life gets heavy, love may still be there, but the connection can still feel strained. it can feel strained, right? And again, one spouse may be carrying extra responsibility. One spouse may feel guilty or helpless. One spouse may feel tired. One spouse may feel overlooked. One spouse may feel like everything is about appointments, meals, bills, symptoms, or what needs to be done next, right? And yes, those things matter. They really do, because that's your new norm right now, right? That current moment, that's your new norm. But marriage still needs that tenderness. It still needs the TLC, right? And we forget about that, and not intentionally. I don't want you to think you forgot about it on purpose. You didn't, right? Marriage still needs that conversation. Marriage still needs that affection. Marriage still needs emotional check-ins. And because even in heavy seasons, you are still husband and wife. You are still husband and wife, not just roles, not just responsibilities, but husband and wife. So I want you to take a quick pause. I want you to, if your spouse is with you and you've experienced or you're going through the sickness, because remember, it's going through, it's a valley. I want you to look at your partner. I want you to look at your spouse, your boo, and just tell your boo, we're still here. We're still husband and wife. I want you to do that real quick. All right. Do that real quick. Just grab their hand and say, we are still husband and wife, and we're going to make it. All right. So listen, here's a tool I want you to do. These are the TLC ways of caring and connection, right? You're checking in. So this week's tool is the Care Plus Connection Check-in, and it has 3 parts. You know why it has 3 parts? Because I'm not trying to make this complicated for you all. Take another sip of water. I'm not trying to make this complicated for you all. I don't like stress. And as a coach, I'm not going to stress you all. You don't need stress. You don't need all that extra, right? But I do have 3 ways, through just 3 simple, easy. When I say easy, I'm not going to have you overthinking, because I don't want you to overthink this. We complicate communication. There's nothing to overthink it, right? We just got to learn to go with the flow. All right. So y'all ready? T for talk. And I want you to ask yourself, what am I carrying that I have not said out loud? What am I carrying that I have not said out loud? Sometimes what stays unspoken starts showing up as attitude, distance, resentment, or shut down. It is true, you guys. It's true. I know a lot of us don't want to talk about this, and I know a lot of us don't want to acknowledge that, but it does. When it's unspoken, when you're in a place where you don't know what's going on, when you don't know what's going on. As I shared, my husband had 2 strokes. I didn't know what was going on. In my mind, I'm trying to make sure everything is together, right? I want him to live. So I don't know. I'm operating differently, right? Because now I need to make sure that he's okay, he's safe, and whatnot. So sometimes you don't get to express that. The unspoken starts showing up as attitude, a distance, resentment, or shut down. And in my case, it was shutting down because I could handle everything, but I didn't know how to handle this, right? And it's okay. A lot of times your spouse don't know. They don't know. This is part of the journey. You might say, I love you, but I'm tired. And let me tell you all, that is the honest conversation that you can have with your spouse during this time. Your spouse needs to understand, I love you. And it is nothing going to separate us over that. This is not going to end our marriage. This is not going to separate us. But I'm just a little tired because I'm not understanding what's going on. I'm trying to learn new ways, like everything is new. I'm a little bit tired. And guess what? That's the truth. Because mentally you are tired. Physically you are tired, because I can guarantee your mile is running. Your mind is running a mile a minute, literally. It's running. So you haven't had the proper sleep. You haven't hydrated. You haven't eaten. You haven't. I watched my parents, like literally they were operating again. They were building a business throughout this, the trials, both of them with cancer and raising 5 children. You're not gonna. My parents were not super parents; they were human parents. So yes, they were tired and they loved each other, but caring for the other and vice versa, they were tired. And a lot of times we have not been able to express that to our spouses, and let alone express that to the families. But the families right now don't matter. It's you and your spouse, right? So you might say, so when that happens, when you feel the unspoken words, when you start feeling the attitude, when you start showing up with the attitude, if you start feeling distance, when you start feeling resentment, or you just start to shut down, be honest. And you might say, baby, I love you. I love you. Lord knows I do, but I'm tired. I'm not sure how to handle this. I really don't. I'm praying. I'm crying. I don't know how to do this. And I want to be here to support you. I want to support you, but I need support too. I want to support you the best way I know how, but I need some support too. And I don't know how to do this. You can say this season has been heavy, and I don't want us to lose each other in it. And again, those are just a few ways you can let your spouse know. And again, this is honest conversation. It's not blaming. It's just naming what's real with care. And that's the part that we miss. We skip over that because we're trying to be nice and we're trying to tiptoe around what's going on. We're trying to be political correct. You can't be, because the truth is the truth. When you're dealing with a illness, a sickness in your marriage, it changes the dynamics of everything, right? So your flow is flowing all over the place, and for a minute, just for a minute, you're all over, and you as the caregiver, right? You're trying to navigate through the waters, the storm, and that's why I always say you're going through, because the storm doesn't last always, right? It doesn't last always. My parents, the cancer didn't last always, but they made it through. Even through my father's passing, they made it through. Even afterwards, after my mother's it was made through, right? So you're not blaming each other. So I want you to take that out your vocabulary. If you have experienced that, if you are experiencing that, take it out your vocabulary, write it out, pray, to be honest with God and be honest with your boo. There's no one to blame here. It happened. Whatever the sickness is whatever happened, it happened. It happened, and it happened for a reason. I don't know that, you don't know that, God knows that, and he will reveal it to you. But what I can tell you, it will make you stronger. All right? Your marriage is not over. Listen, ask yourself this. What is my spouse carrying that I may not fully understand? Because both spouses may be carrying something different. The caregiver may be tired, but the spouse receiving care may feel like a burden. Yeah. Yeah. So you as a caregiver, you know, and the caregiver doesn't, I know a lot of times we associate caregiving with someone who's taking care of somebody who's bedridden or whatnot, but being a caregiver meaning, okay, my spouse is temporarily ill or going through a sickness or whatnot, and they need me they need you as a caregiver. So that means you're handling things of the home, you're handling things of a marriage or whatnot, right? In my case, in my parents' case, in the beginning, my dad was a caregiver, so that means he had to be mama, daddy, the businessman, all of that, right? And by me being the oldest, I was able to help him Well, look, me and my sister cooking meals and so forth, taking care of our little brothers, and we became self-sufficient or whatnot. So we became caregivers, but my father was a caregiver, right? Even though my mom could still function on her days not having chemo, she had to do chemo and radiation, and that was draining for her, right? There were days where she could not function. She had to lay in the bed. So we had to step in. So even though the caregiver, the spouse, my dad was taking care, my mom was in the bed. So she may have felt like receiving the care she may have felt like a burden on her family. And a lot of times that they won't express that, right? The caregiver may need rest, but the spouse receiving the care may need reassurance. Mm-hmm. The caregiver may need appreciation. The spouse receiving care may need dignity. Yeah. Listening does not mean you have to fix everything. Sometimes listening simply says, you're not alone in this. So, as that caregiver or the opposite, the spouse that's receiving the care, just listening to each other without arguing. Don't let the enemy creep in and don't let it turn into an argument, because it's not about arguing. It's about expressing the love. It's about expressing honesty. Because again, I don't care how long you've been married, I don't care how close you are. That illness, that sickness, whatever the case may be, it will change the dynamics of your communication. That's just a given. You're not going to be hunky dory, lovey dovey throughout that process, because everybody, both of you, are trying to figure it out. And it depends if you have small children, adult children, or if you have a support system. If you don't have a support system, there's a lot, right? And we tend to forget about this. It's a lot. But whatever it is, you two, husband and wife, husband and wife have to stick together. You look at each other, you say, we're gonna do this. You grab each other's hands, you cry with each other. We're gonna do this. We're gonna listen to each other. Listen to your spouse. He or she maybe the spouse that's receiving the care probably got 1,000,001 questions about what happened or what's happening, and they don't know what's going on. So they don't know how to communicate with you. And then on the flip side, the caregiver is got 1,000,001 questions. They don't know what to do, right? So you have to have grace with each other. You have to have grace. And yes, sis, your marriage is not over. Your marriage is not over. It's a trial, it's a tribulation that you're going to go through, but it's not over. It's not over. Okay? C, connect. Ask together. Listen to what I said. Ask together. What is one small way we can feel like us this week? Or even if you can't say this week, this day. What is one small way we can feel like us today, tomorrow, this week? Not caregiver and patient, not manager and task list, not roommate and responsibility, but husband and wife. What is one small way we can feel like us as husband and wife? I remember when we got settled in, right? I think it was probably like a few weeks or so afterwards, and we're getting the rhythm, of everything that was going on. I think we went to go get some ice cream one evening, and we didn't say too much to each other. We really didn't. But that ice cream was a sign of relief, just a sign of, and again, you may not say anything, but there's something that will bridge, and just you would look at each other and you eat your milkshake and ice cream and you just, okay, that's it. Nothing fancy, not perfection, not trying to overdo it, overthink it. Simple ice cream cone can just bridge that moment. So, what is that one thing, one way you can make y'all can make each other feel like y'all, husband and wife? And again, you could do it for what's one way for today? What's one way for this? However, but find that one way. All right. I'm not asking you to find 10 ways. I'm not asking you to find 15 ways. One way. And you grow from there. You grow from there, right? Maybe it's like it says, holding hands, getting the ice cream, right? Praying together. Praying together. I cannot emphasize that enough. Praying together. Maybe it's watching something light on TV, right? A comedy or something. Maybe it's just sitting together without talking, as I was saying earlier. Not talking about the situation, right? Talking about somebody else, talking about what's going on in the world, right? Maybe it's sharing a meal without discussing the to-do list. Maybe that just without bringing that up, right? Connection does not have to be big and it does not have to be complicated, you guys. It does not. It just has to be intentional. Intentional. Take a sip of water. And yes, spending time. Intentional. Right? It just has to be intentional. Okay? So listen, here's a quick recap. Because I told you I don't want to keep you long. I'm not going to stress you out. I'm not going to do that. You already got a lot that's going on. You do. All right. So T, talk. What am I carrying that I have not said aloud? This is you as the caregiver or the spouse that's receiving the care. What am I carrying that I have not said aloud? That's that honest conversation that you're going to have. No, you're not going to fuss with each other. No, you're not blaming each other. You're not even talking about, well, if you did this, if you had done this or that. No, you're not doing that. That's part of that anger. But what you're not going to do, you're not going to allow the enemy to do that. Now, you can be angry. You can be angry. You can be angry at the situation, but don't be angry with each other. Don't turn on each other. Don't. All right. L, listen. What is my spouse carrying that I may not fully understand? This goes for the caregiver and the spouse that's receiving the care. You're going to ask yourself, what is my boo carrying that I may not fully understand? Okay. And C, what is one small way we can feel like us this week or today? C, you're going to ask together. Connecting, C, you're going to ask together. What is one small way we, me and you, boo. It's that one small way we can feel like us this week. Okay? Simple, practical, and what I love most is real. I ain't got time for fake. I'm not here to fake y'all out. We're not going to do that. We want to keep it honest. We want to keep it authentic. We don't have time to play. I don't have time to play with y'all. And y'all don't have time to play with me. These are real conversations. These are real things that are affecting communication. All right. So listen, here are 3 conversation starters that you can use this week. Again, very simple. And you use it in your own tone. You know your boo. Number 1, I love you and the season has been heavy. Simple. Babe, I love you. You my heart, you my best friend. But it's a little heavy. It's heavy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to navigate this, but we are going to get through this, right? This allows the honesty without the blame. And you can love your spouse and still admit the season is hard. Both can be true. See, sometimes we like to say one thing and not the other because we're afraid that it's going to hurt, but it's not. What's going to hurt is you being silent and not saying nothing, and the assumption starts going in, and then the mind is like, okay, am I not doing right? What's going on, right? So when you don't talk and when you don't share the honest conversation, then that's when the assumptions fall in, and that's when the resentment and the anger hits. Okay. Number two, um, I don't want us to lose each other in the responsibility, right? This brings the marriage back into focus. Yes, the responsibilities matter, but the relationship still matters too. So, yes, what you're dealing with, it matters. But remember, you're still husband and wife, and your marriage still matters. Okay. Number three, what would help you feel loved this week? Ask each other that. What would help you feel loved this week, boo? That question slows down the guessing. That question actually slows down the guessing, right? Because again, love may look different in a heavy season. It looks different in a heavy season. And again, the goal is not to assume. The goal is to ask. That's your boo. Ask. Ask. Pray and ask. That's what you're going to do with each other. Okay? Yes, the silence be so loud. Yeah, it does. That silence. You got the goal is to not assume, you guys. Ask each other. That's your boo. Y'all are in this thing together, and it is part of the journey. It is part of the marriage journey. That's why when people ask, when they say they want to get married, and I ask the question back to them, why do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married? And sometimes people have this fantasy notion of, oh, because they can, want to take care of somebody, they want to, take pictures and go on trips and all of this. But what happens when life unexpectedly give you something? What do you do? And the very first thing that happens is that communication will break down. And then that's when you don't know what to do. You're thinking your marriage is over. No, it's not over, but it's something that we have to think about. Marriage is beautiful. It's a blessing. It's divine. It is truly divine. However, it comes with the responsibilities, and you have to be ready for that. And a lot of times you're not going to be ready for that. So when we think about these vows in sickness, rich or poor, better for worse, in sickness and health. See, we always think about the good part of the vows. We think about the health. I don't care how much you go to the gym or the whatever, eat right or whatever. Something's going to take place. It will. And it's not always a bad thing. It's just part of the journey. It's a test of your vows. It's to listen. Okay. So listen, this week, choose one calm moment and ask yourself, are we only managing the season or are we still nurturing the marriage? And then I want you to use the Care Plus connection check in. All right. The talk, the listen, the connect, the TLC way. Again, It's no pressure, no performance, no trying to solve everything in one conversation. Just that one honest check-in with compassion. That's right, DJ. We got to say it louder, right? Exactly. Listen, just that honest check-in with compassion. Because guess what? The enemy is waiting for you to start that argument. The enemy is waiting for you to blame each other. Now, one thing I can honestly say, I didn't see my parents blame each other when they both got cancer. It was just like we had to sit down as a family, had to have we sat down at the dinner table. My mom announced that she had cancer. My dad said, okay. He was not the sentimental, person. Of course, we cried or whatnot, but my dad's like, okay, here's the plan. We building this business. I got these contracts. Boom, boom, boom. Sean, you do this. Lisa, you do this. Boys, we're going to do this. And we had to work as a team. And was it tiring? Yes, it was. It was very hard. I'm in college and my siblings are in high school and elementary. So again, but we had to pull together. She didn't ask to have cancer. She didn't ask that to go to chemo and radiation, right? And this wasn't overnight. This was like 2 years or so. And then boom, we had remission and everything was back to normal. It was a new normal. And then boom, what happened? My dad. And vice versa. My mom said, okay, dad got cancer. So we boo-hooed again. We're like, all right, boom, let's do this again. But we pulled together as a team. Did they have their moments of like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Like, did they have their moments of uncertainties? Yes, they did. Because they had a whole family to take care. They had a whole business to run. They didn't have assistants. They didn't have AI. This is back in the 90s, right? So what I'm saying is, it's something that we're going to go through unexpectedly. You don't know. But what you do is you connect, you stay connected as husband and wife, not the caregiver and patient, not the manager and the to-do list, or none of that. You have to just, but here's the thing, you're not doing it alone. You're not doing it alone. That's when you're really going to rely on each other. But you got to stay connected through that conversation. Got to. All right. When there's no support, it becomes so much harder. It does. And I just remember, we were here without family. And so again, we had a couple of aunts and so forth that would fly in, for a week or two and help, and like really help, like cook some meals and wash clothes and things of that nature, right? But after that, it's still back to us. So when you don't have that support, it does make it harder. And again, this is something that we don't like to talk about in our relationship, in our marriage. And we have to do that. We have to do that. And that's where that honest conversation comes in. You have to be honest. You can't sit there and hold resentment, because that resentment is going to turn into anger. And that anger is going to turn into hate. And actually, it's probably the opposite, because you get angry, you're resenting already the illness, then you get angry, then you're going to have some more resentment, and then now it's going to turn into dislike and hatred. And it's going to show up when you don't talk to your spouse, when you don't like talking to your spouse, when you don't want to talk to your spouse, when you want to talk to other people outside of your household. That's the level. That's what's going to happen, because the enemy is like, okay, he's already plotting. So now he's going to turn you into enemies. And that's not what you're going to do. You're a husband and wife. At the end of the day, you're husband and wife, and you're committed to each other. Okay? So make sure you have that honest check-in. Make sure you have that honest check-in. You're not blaming each other. You said, when I'm scared, I have to say it. These open, raw conversations must be, yes. And again, I want us to understand that the conversations, the raw conversations, is not to hurt each other, but it is to release. It is part of that release, because if you hold it in your heart is going to turn black like my shirt. It is. Take a sip of water. I know that's not what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. It's going to turn black. You're going to have that resentment. You're going to have that hatred, that anger, and it's going to fester on top of what's happening in your life. Then you're not going to have, you're not going to know how to relate to your spouse that's been the caregiver, or the spouse that's receiving care. You're not going to know how to handle it, because the only thing you're going to think of is blaming that person, that spouse. So you're right. When you're scared, and if you don't have that because you are scared, and it's okay to say, I'm scared. I'm pretty sure my dad was scared as hell, and my mama. I was scared. Because you don't think about those things, right? Nobody thinks about getting sick. Nobody thinks about getting a disease. You don't think about that. You don't think about that part, right? So yes, you're going to be scared. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be anxious for a moment. You're going to worry. You're going to go through all of the emotions. But what you can do and control, you can control these, but you have to be honest. And if not, your heart is going to turn black like this shirt. The bitterness, yes, the bitterness. It will turn. I am here to tell you, if you don't believe me, I'm telling you, I know what I know. Take another sip of water. Mm-hmm. I know what I know. It's going to turn into that resentment, that hatred, because you have not had a chance to release. You don't know how to release. You haven't given yourself permission to release, because we're expected as the spouse or the caregiver to keep going and not express that you're tired, because you think people are going to equate you not loving your spouse when you say, I'm tired. No, it's the opposite. When you release it and you honest, you're saying it out loud. I love my spouse. I love my boo, but I am tired because I don't know what to do. This is new for me. And vice versa. If it's the spouse that's receiving the care, same thing. Hey, I don't know what happened to me. I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't work, I can't provide, I can't do whatever I need to do. I don't know. You got to have that conversation. You got to do it. I'm telling you, you got to do it. All right. What you say, no peace in the home just because we're afraid to have the yes. And that's the part, that's the reason why I'm stressing so much about this topic. Again, I know a lot of couples, and there's a couple on Instagram, the Hawthorns, Terrence Hawthorne and his wife Lucretia, and she had multiple strokes, and I want to say, I think a heart attack. I'm not sure, but aneurysms. And he has been caring for her, and he's been being able to make his money through social media and so forth, caring for her. And he talks about it's a challenge. He shows his before pictures of him and his wife, thriving and all of these things, like they're going to like they have a life, right? Then boom, out of nowhere, she has 6 or 7 strokes. She has multiple strokes. And now she's bedridden and he's taking care of her, right? Their lives changed. Again, in my own household, with my parents, your lives change. But that does not mean your marriage is over. Hey, Shamika, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Yes, we begin to bleed eat on each other and wonder who cut who first. Then it becomes a cycle. Yes, because everybody's afraid to talk. Everybody's afraid to talk. And then once you have that chat, then you can talk to your family, because you know how your family and friends, what you need, da 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 da. They're coming because everybody's trying now to help and whatnot. But sometimes you just have to be like, wait a minute, I'll make the phone calls in a minute. I'll do it in a minute, right? You and hubby, or you and wifey, talking from wife's perspective, have to now shift and say, okay, let us get let us breathe, let us get some things in order first, right? But you got to have that conversation. You got to be honest. Don't let anybody tell you, no, I don't think you should say that to him, sis. No, I don't think, no, 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 no. Because what you're going to do, you're going to have the conversation in the TLC way, that tender love and care, that grace, that mercy, that, Lord, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Help me. I know I married this person. And then the vow said, in sickness and in health. You can't abandon. You cannot abandon. Right. It does not mean your marriage is over, sis. Which says, yeah, your lives have definitely changed. Ours too. Ours has definitely changed. Let me share this real quick. And of course, I don't want to keep you all long. My first marriage, we didn't go through all the vows, right? But the sitting, and because I saw my parents go through, I was like, oh yeah, I could be a wife. I could do this. I know how to take care of somebody being sick and all this kind of stuff. And the first time I encountered a sickness, I was like, oh no. And that person only had a virus. I was freaking out. I was like, oh no. And that's when God showed me, you ain't ready for marriage. You thought you were. Right? You thought you were. Because you thought it was easy to clean up. I was like, oh, I got this. I'm a super wife. No, I was not. I was not. So guess what? He prepared me on the journey of a wife years later, and prepared me for the vows. That's why I'm able to be here as a coach and tell you the truth. Because we like to tiptoe around this subject. We like to tiptoe around sickness. We don't like to have the honest conversation, because your household will change, let alone your conversation, your communication will change. It will take a hit. However, when you put these in place, the TLC way, because again, I don't complicate anything. You don't have time for complications, right? Yes, that TLC definitely, it has to work. That tender loving care, that grace, all of that. All of that. And you take it one day at a time. One day at a time. All right. So listen, if this tonight's conversation speaks to you, if it resonated with you, I want you to grab the complimentary TLC Vows pack from my website, right? It is at iamtrinettelcollier.com/shop. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you all. I want you to go and grab it. It is free, you guys. It is free, 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 free. Complimentary. Y'all go ahead and grab it. Go ahead and grab it, because I want y'all to understand, it ain't gonna be up there for long, but grab it, right? And comment vows, VOWS, if you're grabbing this guide tonight. Grab it. Yes, grab it. Grab it. Grab it. All right. And comment vows if you're gonna grab it, right? Even if you said, nah, I don't really need it. We good. We ain't experienced all of that you talking about. That's listen. If you have not experienced, let me look at me and where are y'all? Where are you? Is the Netflix at which one? Right here. If you have not experienced sickness in your marriage, it is a blessing. God bless you. God bless you. If you only have experienced a cold, a simple virus, God bless you. I it's not a competition. It is not a competition. But if you have experience, I have this free guide, and it's just short read. It's nothing complicated. It's just a freebie for you, just to put some things in perspective, right? And you can always hit this replay and grab these notes as well. That's why I told y'all to get your notebook so you can write it down. Yeah, right. But this guide is just a starter. It's not a script. You can use your own words, use your own tone, use your own rhythm. The goal, again, is not perfection. It's not perfection, you guys. The goal is connection. Ah, thank you. Thank you. I see some vows in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just grab it. And if you don't need it, share it with someone. Tell them, say, hey, grab this. It's a starter pack on conversation. And again, the goal is not perfection. It's what? Connection. All right. So as we continue to live the vows, so we continue living the vows, I want you to remember this. In sickness, it's not just about getting through the hard season. It's about staying connected while you go through it. Say it with me, while I go through it. All right. It is about caring without becoming cold. It's about supporting without silently suffering. It's about remembering that you are still husband and wife, not enemies, not just roles, not just responsibilities, but still, say it with me, husband and wife. So, again, this week, practice the Care Plus Connection check in, the TLC way, talk, listen, and connect. And let's keep bridging this communication gap in our marriages, right? Let's keep doing that. One marriage at a time, one day at a time, the TLC way. Yeah. So, all right. I am Coach Trinette, your certified relationship and marriage communication coach. And thank you so much for joining me for Talk It Out Tuesday. And listen, if you have a topic that you want me to discuss, if you say, hey, T, let's talk about this vow, which we're going to do, we're going to try to cover all of the vows. But if you have something that you want me to cover, DM me, connect with me, text me, email me, connect with me, right? Connect with me and say, hey, can you talk about this? And y'all know how I am. I do everything in confidentiality. So you ain't got to say, oh, such and such said we're going to talk about, we're not going to do that. But if you have a topic that you want me to talk about, let me know. Okay. So stay connected, you guys. Grab your TLC Vows pack. And I'll see you next Tuesday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Tuesday. All right. TLC Coaching, the talk, listen, connect, TLC way. All right. Bye. I love you all.